going to do the quick presentation on assignment 6, network and cloud security. And in this assignment, I'm going to demonstrate how I build the Python tool to scan the network. So in the first place, let me run through the README file to explain the stages I'm going to run. In this README file, in the development area, I put together, in first place, I install Nmap, from which is a Python library that is going to bind with Scapy, SCAPY. I download it from this website also, as I download the Nmap also from this website. Those are the libraries that I need to create and bind together the virtual environment to be able to execute my code. So as you can see here from the virtual environment, you can see the script. I have a script, I have a shell, and under the shell you have a Scapy, and the content is here. These are where all the scanning and the execution are going to be happening. And I have a under script, I have under library, I have an Nmap also here, which is here with the PyCache, with the ini.py and also those libraries. So those are the things that are going to work together to execute my code. And in my README file, I put together the execution steps. So this is just information about how I install the libraries. So this is where I'm going to execute exactly. So in my code development, I also have this as a requirement, where as a requirement.test, where I have the Nmap version installed, and Scapy version also defined. So, and you can see from here, I have a little unit test written here, and this unit test I'm going to be running in at the end of my demonstration. And the code here, from the code, as you can see, networker underscore scanner dot py. As you can see from here, I define all the necessary tool to scan the network where my environment, in my environment. So I import the necessary libraries, and then I define any import Nmap with the exception to handle any error messages. And if you see in the network underscore find, I implement the scanning, vulnerabilities, matching, result passing, and report generation. That means if I run this code, the code is going to scan, is going to check for the vulnerability, and it's going to give me output as a result, which is going to be in a test plain format, or whether in a JSON format. It depends what I exactly ask the form to be. So, and the reason why I added the requirement here, the requirement dot s, it declares the runtime dependency to bind all the Python libraries together to be able to execute. So, and the git here in the file, in my file, is to add to ignore any pattern that may be causing any block or any issues. It should just ignore it. So coming down to the file, I define here the known vulnerability pretty much that we can encounter, and also define the type of the service that we will be running through, and also define the functions. And from here, I define a different stage of the function that I'm going to run through, and get the outputs. And as you can see, I define these parameters here. This parameter is related to target, port, service detection, OS detection, vulnerability script, and I have another target parameter here defined. And as you can see, all the arguments, those are the parameters that I'm going to pass in argument when I'm executing the code. So yeah, this is in general, that's the main explanation of what I put together. And in importing module, I can explain importing module. I imported yeah, few libraries here, the module that are going to call the sys the sys file or the sys owner, and import any error mix, uh, any import any library to handle any error mode messages during the across the module, and also handle any execution steps. So that's it. So let's jump in the execution steps in the terminal so I can implement what I've put together. So in the first place, let me clear the terminal. In first place, let me clear the terminal. So I need to know my local IP first, because I'm going to use my local IP according to the my implementation to to show the difference between the virtual environment I'm having and my local environment. So I'm going to use IP config to get my current IP. The current IP is related to where my laptop is running, the IP where my Windows is running on. So as you can see from here, I have this as IP, but in the code I define different IP for my environment, virtual environment. I define different IP, as you can see from here. So now let me go ahead. Let me go to my README file step by step to execute this. So I'm going to in first place, run my first IP to get the results. If I can find any vulnerability or anything, so I'm running it. So it's executing now. Network scanner. The target is he pulled the IP because it's scanning the IP. Now it generate the report and saying that no hosts found or scan return no result. That means I don't have any live host or any physical server that my code, the network is residing or using, and connect to my server or connect to any physical server. So there's nothing to worry about. So the result is there, and the environment still green. So now let me run my own local IP. My local IP. So like if I had to run this, my local IP should be now 56. So now let's run it and see what will be the outcome. Now this is my local IP. You can see it's a 56.1 at the end. Now it's telling me that it find a kind of services running on the IP, and the ports are on my local now is 135 TCP, 139, 445, and the state is open, and the services have a MSRPC and the net BIOS hyphen SSN and Microsoft hyphen DS, and we have the version like state here. So that's the difference. Now that means my window, the host is this my personal IP is running very wonderful, but there's no any vulnerability or any known vulnerability that can come out as a result. So now let's go back to this stage to run with the port to see what is going to tell me. So I'm running this with the port defined in my code. So it's telling me that these ports are here, port 22, 80, 443, and 3389. And they are open, they are open, and there's no host connected or related to those ports. So now let me try my own personal local IP with my local computer, local environment. Now it puts this. You have 135. You have 22, 135, and now he listed my environment with the three ports open. So now let's go to see the AR with the CIDR block, CIDR CDR that I defined for CDR 24. Let's see what we can get as a result. So now it's telling me this also the performing ARP host discovery, no live. I'm trying to see the live server on that IP. There's nothing like that. So there's no live host found via the ARP. So now let's try to generate the output. So here we are going to do the full scan of an operating system to detect any vulnerability with the script with this. So I'm going to run this to generate the report, test file report. The test file we are going to see, as you can see from my file here, there's no test file listed in my file here. But once I run this, it's going to generate that report for me. So I'm waiting for this to complete so I can run this to generate the test. The ARP test is still running. Yeah, as the ARP result complete, I'm now going to run the report to generate the report to see the content with the same IP that I defined in the code. So let's see what is going to happen. Okay, now it's scanning. I know it's going to take a lot of time to generate the report, but we are going to see here the report dot test and the JSON. So we'll see the content of that. Yeah, as we can see from here on in the file here, it just pop out this report.test. See, this is the content of it, generated today, this time, and no host was found and returned no result. And let's see the JSON. The JSON also does not have any host listed. So now let me go ahead and run my IP, my local IP command, which is right here. My local IP, let me run it this one. So now let's see what is going to happen to the content of the report.test and the results.json. So now it's running. Let me pause the video here for me to complete and you can check the content. Yeah, as you can see, the report is complete. So complete is telling me, okay, you find these ports 135, 139, 445, and all listed to here, and it's pointing to Windows 11 24H2, which is 100%. Is the operating system. So in the first place, when we run the first command with the test, with this, we did not get any. Let's check the content of the report now. What is going to happen? You will see that this report right here was added to the test report, which is right here with the same host API IP. So in the first place, it was only the top here we are seeing. So now we have this. Now let's see the JSON format. The JSON content now is it listed the host IP, this host name, and the Windows operating system, and it listed the operating system. And you can see the port 135 state open, the service MSR PC, and version Microsoft Windows RPC. And the port 39 and the port 445 with the same protocol and service states and state version also. So this is the end of it. Okay, now let's execute the unit test to see how the unit test will result. Even though I did not put my local IP in it, I'm just dealing with the virtual IP I have. So let's see how my virtual test will result, my unit test will run. So my unit test, as you can see, I run the unit test here, and this is the results. As you can see from here, this is my unit test result. The target is not, this is what I define in the code. Uh, the target, this is what I exactly define in the code. As you can see from the code here, unit test code here. Let me. So it's providing the same result I was expecting to see. It's providing the same result. So that means, as you can see, not a valid host. This is normally we are supposed to give the host name, and this is the IP I'm using just for the this for my unit testing, and as you can see, all the way to this IP also, the same IP, virtual IP that I used to create my virtual environment. So this is it, and that was the result. And as you can see from my unit test here, it ran how many tests? 24, 27 tests. And you can see everything is perfect. So thank you for watching my representation. This is the end of it. Thank you.